Hello everyone, this is Remlace from 40k Theories, and welcome to the October 2018 edition of the Patreon Q&A sessions. As always, if you would like your questions answered, then click the link in the video description below and help support the channel by becoming a patron. Now, let's jump into these questions. Heather Gochioso asks, quite a lot. Okay, which Primarch would you like to have as your best friend? Probably Sanguinius, he'd be a good wingman. Okay, that joke was terrible and I'm sorry, please don't hate me. I don't know. Most of the Primarchs have, traits that are both good and bad. Whether or not you want to keep them around as friends is a different matter entirely. It would have to be one of the nicer Primarchs, I feel. Someone like, say, Sanguinius or Vulcan. Maybe Leman Russ or Fulgrim. They might be good to have out, on a night on the town, that kind of thing. Probably one of them, yeah. How did you come up with your avatar's design? I was actually inspired by the design of the Archmagus Drakeavac, I believe his name was, from the Horus Heresy. The guy that has the horse skull, but decided to use a dinosaur because dinosaurs are cool. Did the Prymarks have black carapaces? Do you know, I actually don't know. I mean, I presume they would have something akin to it, considering that black carapace is derived from gene seed, and gene seed is derived from Primarch DNA. But we also have artwork of Conrad Kurz pretty much naked from Ruinstorm when Lionel Johnson was interrogating him, and there were no connector ports that I could see on his body. I mean, there was a couple that could be, but they could also just be his nipples. So, I actually don't know. I think they must have some kind of equivalent to use their power armor effectively, considering that their armor is almost always unique. So I'm gonna go and say, maybe. Excluding chapters that have well-known theories about them, e.g. Blood Ravens, what other chapters do you think are descendants of traitor Primarchs? Well, I could go into detail, but that might spoil some future videos. Wink wink nudge nudge. Excluding the Tyrannids, what do you think is the most terrifying animal in 40k? The Brutal Parasite. If the Emperor did listen to Malcador and made some or all of the Primarchs girls, do you think the Great Crusade and Heresy would have played out differently? Quite possibly. Whether it's for better or worse, though, is a different matter entirely. Do you think Sanguinius should have stayed a brunette, or is blonde just his colour? Yes, this goes back to the description of Sanguinius in Horus Rising, where he's described as having black hair, for some reason. Even though all of his art shows him as being blonde, but it's the same with Leman Russ, who was described as being ginger, yet has blonde hair in his art. I think he should just dye his hair red. Just get it over with, just dye it red. Red like the Blood Angels. Zero Hits asks, if your avatar was Chaos aligned instead of Loyalist, what do you think it would end up looking like? Probably very similar, except more dark mechanicum, so more spikes and more weirdly inappropriate organic bits. Alberic asks, why does Lord Inquisitor Remlace have a Saurian skull for a face? Also, do Terran dogs and cats still exist in the 41st millennium? I have it as a face because dinosaur skulls are cool. Rule of cool, everyone, rule of cool. And yes, dogs and cats do still exist. Pablo asks, considering that the Alpha Legionnaires were considered to be the tallest of the Astartes, would it make sense using Primaris models to represent them, or would it be too big? I personally feel that the Primaris models would be a bit too big for them, but you might as well try it out and see if it looks good. If it looks good, go for it. Luke Welsh asks, how do you think the Primarchs would react to the state of the Imperium if they returned? I'd think they'd probably go, what the fuck happened here? What the fuck did you do? That would be their basic reaction. I mean, in the Beast Arises series, Vulcan has already gone like, man, this shit is fucked. He didn't say those exact words, but I'm paraphrasing here, essentially. That was basically his view on the current state of the Imperium, and it's like, I don't want anyone to find me, I'm going to come back during the darkest time in Imperium history. Yes, but the Orcs have taken Ulanor. What? Oh, shit! That's the Beast Risers in a nutshell. So I reckon it'll be something similar to that. They'd be like, man, we don't really want to come back, but we're going to have to kind of pull your shit out of the fire. I think some of them would definitely try and disappear as well afterwards. Be like, well, we did this. Fuck it. Bye. And then Gilliman's like, hey, wait, you can't go. And then the other Primates be like, fuck you, watch me. Okay. Ty de Rosset asks, in multiple, often unrelated Black Library books, characters will note the taste of copper in their mouths when in the presence of a psyker using their abilities. Has there ever been a reason given for this phenomena? I think it's just them tasting blood, I think. Like, it's something similar to when, this isn't official mine, this is just my own personal theory. But I think it's something similar to when you do, an extreme workout, because, like, when you work out really hard and you can sometimes taste, a metallic taste in the back of your mouth. It's because your blood's being pumped so full of oxygen that it actually permeates the membranes of your lungs, and so you can actually taste it when you inhale. I think it's something similar to that. Warrior of Virtue asks, is there an inverse explanation for why Catachan has not been claimed as a recruiting world by the Adeptus Astartes? Not that I'm aware of, no. I think it's something to do with bureaucracy more than anything else, that, this world has already been claimed and is documented as an Imperial Guard recruiting world, so the Adeptus Astartes can't touch it. Because if you look at the majority of the Adeptus Astartes, their homeworlds and recruiting worlds generally don't have guard regiments recruited from them. There are exceptions, obviously. Necromunda being a big exception. Because not only do you have the Necromundan spiders, you also have the Imperial Fists recruiting from that world as well. But I think that's due to the fact that because that world is so close to Terra, and the Imperial Fists are the Praetorians of Terra, they're a special exception to the rule. Oren Clark asks, what's the specific pattern of bolt gun used by the Astra Militarum? Oh, fucking hell. It's rare that the Astra Militarum uses bolt guns anyway, because the standard issue weapon is the lasgun. But for some special officers and special ops troops, I guess they do use bolt guns, don't they? I think it's the lock pattern? I'm not entirely sure, but I think it might be the lock pattern, because if I recall, that weapon was modified from the Adeptus Arbites pattern of bolt gun. When they use bolt guns instead of shotguns for whatever reason. Mokunama asks, I'm going to get us pizza, what do you want on yours? Salami, bacon, red onions and green peppers. Elephas asks, how many different types of Amasec are there, and how many would be needed to drop a Space Marine? I'm guessing there's as many types of Amasec as there are types of wine, essentially. To drop a Space Marine, it wouldn't. The Space Marine's immune system and digestive system, filtration system, whatever, is so advanced, so efficient that they can't get drunk. That's why the Space Wolves had to create Njord, which was, the only way to overpower their immune system so they could get drunk. I mean, if any normal human tried to drink Njord, I can imagine their internal organs just being dissolved because of how potent it is. It's like drinking napalm. Also, I found a small purple Xenos in our last shipment. Can I keep this small friend? Moving on. Darks asks, do you believe that the Lion sent Luthor and Zahariel, two people he trusts and shares a kinship with, back to Caliban to keep a watch on the Ouroboros, but like the Emperor, trusted them enough to assign the task but not tell them the reason for it? I don't know. I know there was an audio drama where Cypher was there when the Ouroboros awoke. But aside from that, I don't know. I don't think so, personally. Also, I request that Eliphas shoots the small purple Xenos out of the airlock. He's feeding it. That's how infestations start. What are you talking about, this purple Xenos? And finally, Brent Feast asks, what things do you believe that there should be a Chaos God for that doesn't exist? I have no idea. What virtue or vice is there that hasn't already been personified? Because obviously things like, hatred, bloodshed, murder, honor, martial prowess, etc. That's Khorne. Lust, joy, pride, excess, Slanesh, decay, stagnation, indecisiveness, resilience, Nurgle, change, mutation, magic, Tzeentch, deception's also Tzeentch, but also the Horned Rat, greed and tyranny and fire, you got Hashut, anarchy and terror, you got malice, atheism, you got Nakoho, or anti-theism rather. Aside from order, which used to exist but doesn't now, but aside from order, that's pretty much it really. So I have no idea. Also, I request that the small purple Xenos be given to Narina, since her only pets currently are the dust bunnies. That's not true, she has Turtle Friend. For those of you not in the know, it's a long-running in-joke in the 40k Theories Patreon Discord server, where Narina has a turtle friend. An Akele Leviathan, if I recall correctly the name. One of the Idenef Deepkin turtle, but it's her turtle friend, so Shelly I believe it's called. Anyway, that's the last of these questions, so thank you very much for joining us this episode. Again, if you want your questions asked, please click the link in the video description below, and help support the channel by becoming a patron. Until next time, this is Remlace from 40k Theories, and we'll see you again soon. Happy Halloween.